Nikola Tesla had a vision of what's to come into the future.
As a result of not getting the $50,000 from the Edison company, Tesla basically decides that, you know what, I don't really need the Edison company.
Other people were capitalizing on his work without giving him proper credit, and he was suffering from mental illness.
Nikola Tesla stood on an old farm, above a device of his own making that could draw energy directly from the earth using stakes buried deep in the ground. Today, the mere mention of Tesla's name still fills us with a sense of wonder and respect for his groundbreaking contributions. He was a pioneer whose influence reaches far beyond what we can see or fully comprehend. Before we delve into this, it's clear that the reality is far worse than anyone could have imagined, and this won't be the only thing that will shock you. The unseen energy beam. Picture Tesla working on his farm, not with the usual tools, but with a device so advanced it drew energy straight from the earth itself. He had imagined and created something that sounded like it came from a science fiction story. A powerful energy beam. This beam was designed to focus intense heat on a target, a revolutionary concept in how energy could be used. But it wasn't until after Tesla passed away that we began to truly grasp the genius of his inventions and the secrets he left behind. As we look closer, we'll discover amazing secrets in Tesla's last projects that show us how he changed history. One of the most startling revelations was about the death ray. Among his many inventions, Tesla proposed what might have been the most frightening: a weapon that could destroy enemy aircraft from a distance. He called it a directed energy weapon, a particle beam that could demolish targets miles away. Just imagine the impact of such a weapon. It could completely change the nature of warfare, making nations live in fear of its devastating power. Tesla firmly believed that his death ray was possible. Yet, despite his confidence, he never presented a working model or prototype to the public. This led to heated debates and many unanswered questions. Some people dismissed the death ray as pure fantasy, while others thought that it might have been so dangerous that it was hidden away or even destroyed. But this debate wasn't just about whether the death ray existed, it was about what it symbolized. Tesla's inventions carried great promise, but also posed serious risks. A weapon of this magnitude could shift the global balance of power in a way that the world was simply not prepared for. But this was only the beginning of the mysteries surrounding Tesla's work. Another fascinating part of Tesla's life was his deep connection to electricity. This wasn't just the usual relationship between an inventor and his work. It seemed almost destined. Tesla was born during a fierce thunderstorm, an event that seemed to predict his future association with electrical energy. It was as if his very entrance into the world was marked by the powerful forces he would later spend his life exploring. Tesla's bond with electricity went far beyond a professional interest. He treated it almost like it was alive. He believed electricity was not just a force, but something filled with potential, something dynamic and full of energy. His connection to this force was both scientific and spiritual, influencing everything he did. Throughout his life, Tesla didn't just work with electricity, he seemed to understand it on a level that few others could. He felt its subtle currents and tapped into its power to create technologies that, at the time, seemed like magic. To Tesla, electricity was more than a tool for innovation. It was a trusted companion that guided him as he blazed new trails in science. But this wasn't the strangest part of Tesla's story. He was a man ahead of his time, but he was also often misunderstood. His ideas had the potential to change the world, but many of them were met with skepticism or fear. His life was full of breakthroughs and incredible achievements, but also surrounded by intense speculation, even long after he was gone. In the world of technology and invention, few rivalries were as famous as the one between Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison. Their conflict, known as the War of the Currents, was a battle between two of the brightest minds of their time, each with a very different idea of how electricity should power the world. Nikola Tesla came to the United States full of dreams that stretched far and wide. These dreams soon put him at odds with Thomas Edison, who was already a well-known inventor and businessman. At first, Tesla worked for Edison, hoping they could team up to bring electricity to everyone. But it didn't take long before they had a big disagreement that pushed them apart. The core of their conflict was about which electrical system was best. Edison was a firm believer in direct current, DC, a system he had developed and heavily invested in. Tesla, on the other hand, saw more promise in alternating current, AC. He believed AC was superior, especially for sending electricity over long distances, because it could easily change voltages using transformers. As their disagreement grew, Tesla made a bold choice to leave Edison and join forces with George Westinghouse. Together, Tesla and Westinghouse supported the AC system, a campaign that eventually led to its adoption as the standard method for power distribution worldwide. This victory not only established Tesla as a visionary thinker, but also marked a crucial turning point in the history of electricity, proving the importance of new ideas over sticking with old methods. After this significant win, Tesla continued to amaze the world with his inventions, one of the most remarkable being the Tesla coil. Although it was revealed in full detail only after Tesla's death, the Tesla coil showed just how forward-thinking Tesla was. This invention wasn't just a technological wonder. It represented a step toward a future where electricity could be sent without wires, a dream Tesla had held onto throughout his life. The Tesla coil's ability to send electricity through the air without any cables was groundbreaking. It painted a picture of a world without the need for power lines, where energy could flow freely like the air around us. The possibilities of this technology were enormous, far beyond just sending power from one place to another. Tesla's coil was an early form of wireless energy transfer, a concept that would inspire many inventors and lead to advances in fields like radio, remote control, and even medical technology. But this wasn't the only impact of the Tesla coil. Tesla's experiments with it also pushed forward our understanding of radio frequencies and laid the groundwork for future breakthroughs in lighting and electromagnetic technology. His work looked ahead to needs and technologies that wouldn't fully develop until long after his time, showing his remarkable ability to envision future uses for his inventions. But this wasn't the most surprising part. Tesla's vision went beyond inventing gadgets. It was about changing how people interacted with technology and energy itself. He imagined a world where energy flowed smoothly and efficiently, without the risks and hassles of old systems. The Tesla coil stands as proof of his belief in a more connected and dynamic world, a symbol of progress in the search for smarter, better technology. Tesla's journey, from his split with Edison to his groundbreaking work with the Tesla coil, is a story of courage, creativity, and a relentless drive to change the world. His life and ideas continue to inspire us today, encouraging us to think outside the box and dream big. But the story doesn't end here. There's more to learn about how Tesla's ideas challenged the status quo and shaped our modern world. While the Tesla coil was impressive, it was just one piece of Tesla's larger vision for wireless energy transmission and communication. He believed that energy could be shared across the globe without any physical connections, and he devoted much of his life to proving this was possible. Tesla's ideas were not only ahead of his time, but they also laid the groundwork for technologies we now take for granted. For example, his work on wireless communication anticipated the development of modern radio, television, and even Wi-Fi. He saw a future where information could be sent instantly across vast distances, something that seemed like pure science fiction to many in his era. And yet, this wasn't the most challenging part of Tesla's journey. Despite his many achievements, Tesla often struggled with getting the recognition and financial support he needed. He was a dreamer and a visionary, but many of his ideas were too advanced for his time, and he faced constant skepticism and financial difficulties. Even so, he never gave up on his vision for the future. Let's now dive into a story that connects Tesla with a secretive military experiment, electromagnetic marvel. In the quieter corners of history, there is a story that connects Nikola Tesla to a mysterious military experiment called the Philadelphia experiment. According to some stories, a U.S. Navy warship managed to do something unbelievable. It disappeared into thin air and then reappeared just moments later. People claimed this incredible event, which made the ship invisible and seemed to teleport it, was somehow linked to Tesla's groundbreaking work with electromagnetic fields. Tesla had spent years studying different energy frequencies, and some believed that his research gave the military the power to bend time and space. But the secretive nature of military projects makes it hard to know for sure if Tesla was really involved in this experiment. Historians and scientists still disagree about the truth. Some say Tesla's involvement is key to understanding what happened, while others warn against jumping to conclusions, calling it all just a wild tale. Still, whether it's true or not, the fact that Tesla's name is linked to such an extraordinary event shows just how far-reaching his influence on science and technology was. Moving away from mysteries to Tesla's dreams, one of his most ambitious projects was the Warden Cliff Tower. This tower was Tesla's attempt to prove that wireless energy transmission was possible. He imagined a future where there would be no need for power lines or cables, and electricity could be sent through the air like radio waves. Built in Shoreham, New York, the tower was designed to send energy over great distances without any wires. Tesla saw a world where electricity flowed freely, as easy to access as the air we breathe. But this wasn't the hardest part. Sadly, Tesla's big plans for Warden Cliff Tower hit serious money problems. As the construction continued, the funding ran out, putting the whole project in danger. Although many people were interested in the idea, steady financial backing was never secured. Eventually, the painful choice had to be made to abandon the tower. However, Tesla's ideas still live on today in things like wireless charging for phones and electric cars. These modern technologies may be smaller in scale, but they reflect Tesla's vision and make us wonder what could have been if his tower had been completed. Tesla didn't stop there. He was always looking beyond the horizon. One of his most unusual ideas was his belief that he might have received signals from outer space. In the late 19th century, Tesla claimed he had detected strange signals with his advanced equipment. He thought these signals could be messages from intelligent beings on other planets. This idea came long before radio astronomy was even a field of study, showing once again how ahead of his time Tesla was. While many were doubtful, Tesla's history of making the impossible possible meant his claims could not be entirely dismissed. His suggestion that we might not be alone in the universe stirred debates and made people curious about the potential of communicating with other worlds. But that wasn't the most daring of Tesla's dreams. One of his biggest ideas was the concept of free energy for everyone. Tesla believed the Earth had huge, untapped energy reserves, and he thought it was possible to harness these directly. He imagined a future where machines and homes could draw power straight from the environment, rather than relying on centralized grids. Tesla's vision wasn't just about cutting costs, it was about changing how we use the planet's resources. He believed that if machines could be tuned to work with the Earth's natural frequencies, they could tap into an endless supply of energy. This idea was revolutionary, suggesting a new way to live in balance with the Earth, using its resources in a much more sustainable way. But Tesla's vision for free energy wasn't only a technical challenge, it was also a dream of a better world. He wanted to see a future where all people had equal access to power, breaking down barriers and empowering everyone. This idea was about more than just technology. It was about freedom and equality, about creating a world where everyone could benefit from the planet's natural gifts. Next, we look at what happened right after Tesla's death, when the government quickly took all his belongings. Tesla's lost legacy. After Nikola Tesla passed away, his legacy quickly attracted intense attention from the US government. Almost immediately, they moved in and took possession of all his belongings, using the powers of the Office of Alien Property. This included a massive collection of his personal notes, sketches, and possibly inventions that could have been groundbreaking. This sudden action by the government caused widespread curiosity and concern, leading many to wonder what secrets Tesla's work held. People everywhere began asking the same question. What had Tesla been working on that was so important the government had to act so quickly? Scientists and scholars were filled with theories. Could his notes have contained plans for new technologies that might change the world? Were there inventions among his things so powerful that they could either propel humanity forward or be incredibly dangerous in the wrong hands? Rumors began to spread about mysterious devices, advanced weapons, and even ideas for technology far beyond what anyone could imagine at the time. Though some of Tesla's papers were eventually sent to the Tesla Museum in Belgrade, many remain hidden, leaving people to guess what other remarkable secrets he might have left behind. But this wasn't the only strange thing about Tesla's story. Apart from his well-known inventions, there was another side to him, a side connected to a deep and unusual bond he had with pigeons. In his later years, Tesla became particularly attached to one white pigeon in New York City. This was not just any bird to Tesla, it was special. He saw this pigeon as a true companion, bringing him comfort when he needed it most. He even shared that one night, this pigeon came to his window, glowing with a bright light, which he felt was a sign or an important message. To some, this might sound like a curious story, but it shows Tesla's unique personality and his deep intuition. His connection with the pigeon hints at a man who was not only a brilliant inventor, but also someone who was sensitive to the mysteries of life. It raises an interesting question. Was his bond with this pigeon just an oddity, or did it reveal a deeper, more spiritual side of him? But that wasn't the end of Tesla's unusual interests. He also had a strong fascination with the numbers 3, 6, and 9, which he believed were key to understanding the universe. This was not just a strange hobby. It reflected his deep belief in how everything in the universe is connected. Tesla noticed these numbers appearing again and again in his experiments and in daily life. He took these numbers seriously, even using them in his daily routines. For example, he would walk around a block 3 times before entering a building, or wash his hands in a specific pattern. He believed these actions held a deeper meaning and were not just random habits. In the early 20th century, Nikola Tesla needed financial support to turn his groundbreaking ideas into reality. One of the people who backed him was the famous banker, J.P. Morgan. Tesla managed to secure a large investment from Morgan to fund his ambitious Warden Cliff Tower project, which he believed could become a global center for wireless communication and power transmission. However, as Tesla's experiments became more complex, he realized he needed much more money than he first thought. The results of his work were not coming fast enough to satisfy Morgan, who began to doubt Tesla's big promises. Eventually, Morgan decided to stop funding the project, leaving Tesla's dream for Warden Cliff incomplete. This was not just a setback for the project, it also placed a heavy financial burden on Tesla, leaving him with unpaid debts and a sense of failure. The collapse of the Warden Cliff project was a harsh reminder of the difficulties Tesla faced in balancing his extraordinary ideas with the tough realities of money and technology. Among Tesla's many inventions was the Tesla turbine, a machine that was both simple and brilliant. Unlike traditional turbines with many blades, Tesla's design used smooth, flat plates that allowed fluids to move through them more naturally. This reduced wear and tear, promising a machine that would last longer and work more efficiently. Tesla believed his turbine could transform not only the power industry, but also transportation, including cars, airplanes, and ships. He imagined these vehicles running on his turbines, reaching new levels of efficiency that no one had thought possible before. The Tesla turbine was more than just a mechanical device. It was a statement about using nature's own designs to create powerful, sustainable technologies. Tesla's ideas didn't stop with the turbine. He was always exploring new and sometimes strange concepts, one of which was his idea of an earthquake machine. Tesla was fascinated by earthquakes and wanted to understand how they worked. He designed a machine that he believed could cause small earthquakes by creating vibrations that matched the Earth's natural frequencies. While this idea might sound like something out of a science fiction story, Tesla actually built and tested this device in his lab in New York. It's said that the machine even caused a minor tremor. Although this might have worried some people, it also taught valuable lessons about how structures respond to vibrations. These insights helped engineers design stronger buildings, bridges, and dams, and contributed to the early warning systems for earthquakes that we use today. Perhaps Tesla's most forward-thinking work was in the field of radio communication. Long before radios became common in homes, Tesla was experimenting with the basic principles of how they worked. He imagined a world connected by electromagnetic waves that could send messages across great distances. But he didn't just think about sending music or news. He envisioned a global communication network, something very much like the internet we have today. His work laid the foundation for technologies like FM radio and other wireless communication tools that would shape the 20th century. Looking back at Tesla's work in radio communication, it's clear that he wasn't just creating new gadgets. He was building the future. Tesla saw a world where technology could bring people together, no matter how far apart they were. His legacy in radio communication is a testament to his amazing ability to foresee the potential of technology to connect people everywhere. But this wasn't the only remarkable thing about Tesla. When we look at the full range of his achievements, from practical inventions like the Tesla turbine to wild experiments like the earthquake machine, it's obvious that he was more than just a clever inventor. He was a true visionary who was always pushing the limits of what was technically and scientifically possible. His work continues to inspire people today, showing his unique role not just as a pioneer of the past, but as someone who helped shape the technological world we live in now. Could Tesla's unseen innovations have reshaped our world even further? Like, comment, and subscribe to delve deeper into his visionary legacy and join the discussion on his groundbreaking work.